Ain't today a funky day to wake up to? Hello, everybody. Today we got more news. Also, I'm sorry if I sound sick. It's because I am sick. So yeah, I just wanted to make another quick shotgun video talking about some of the stuff that was announced today. One of which I'm not really too big on, mainly because I don't really care for the IP in question. But the other one I'm generally surprised about, and there's some information pertaining about it that we'll discuss here. So first off, we have the fact that Hiya Toys seems to be tackling the Monster Hunter World IP. So on an official post on both their Facebook and Twitter, it reads, from Capcom's acclaimed game, the 2018 TGA Best Role-Playing Game winner, Monster Hunter World, is now joining Hiya Toys' Exquisite Basics series. So just to make this really apparent, the Exquisite Basics series is basically their articulated figures, like their Godzilla and Kong. First item is currently in development. More details will be unveiled soon. Stay tuned for more details on Hiya Toys. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. Now, the one thing I do want to bring up is the fact that this IP, Monster Hunter, is coincidentally another IP that Monster Arts holds. So I'm not saying that Hiya Toys is going for Monster Arts' crown of, the place to get articulated figurines of not just Godzilla, but now Monster Hunter. But it is kind of, like, I mean, I don't know, like, the fact that they're tackling another IP, also from Japan, is kind of curious. But, this does raise the question of how much further will Hiya Toys go with making monster figures for their Exquisite Basics line and maybe their other lines like Stylist and whatnot. Also, Exquisite Basic Plus figures from this line, which thus far only has the Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla. But, it's curious. It's curious to see this actually play out. And, I do wonder what other IPs they're willing to take in, because I'm just going to be real here. Like, I'm at my wit's end with SH Monster Arts, and if Hiya Toys ends up getting the license to make Gamera figures and Kong figures outside of the Monsterverse, then I'd probably get most of my SH Monster Arts collection, sell them off, or give them away and just start collecting Hiya figures at that point. Because, yeah, I guess my one hope from this is that, as I said in my 3-hour expose about why Monster Arts needs to change, how I have a couple of friends who are really big into Monster Hunter, and, I think what Tamashii Nations has been doing thus far is alright, although their volume is pretty lackluster. So I wonder if Hiya Toys stepping in will finally be able for them to get some of their most requested monsters, like Salsa. I see you definitely want that Gormagala. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Second thing I want to bring up has to be the sequel to Netflix's Skull Island animated series. So quick rundown. So the animation studio that did Skull Island also did another series called Tomb Raider, and not too long after Tomb Raider was released, it was greenlit for a season 2. Skull Island at that point was like a year old, so the fact that we didn't get an announcement as soon as we did kind of solidified with a lot of people that season 2 wasn't going to happen, which is a shame. Like, I should probably mention, I'm a pretty big fan of the Skull Island animated series. I also have another friend who's pretty big on it. You'll see him later on in the channel soon. But yeah, the fact that we are getting a sequel series to Skull Island is honestly great. I just didn't like how the show just ended on a cliffhanger. I was genuinely invested to see what happened to the characters after, and it's nice to see that we're finally going to get that. The only caveat about this news is it's not going to be a season 2. Rather, it's going to be a comic series. And from the sounds of it, there's going to be multiple issues of it. My only hope is that this series will manage to wrap up and tell the full story. Variety article reads this: the Monsterverse is expanding off-screen with a new comic book series. Return to Skull Island from Titan Comics and Legendary Comics is set in the world of Legendary Skull Island, the animated series. Currently streaming on Netflix, and follows a group of survivors stranded on the perilous South Pacific island as they uncover its dark secrets. They face life-threatening challenges and fights for survival in a land where every creature is a threat, including Kong himself. The series is written by Simon Furman from Transformers, and illustrated by Christopher Jones, who also did illustrations for Doctor Who, Once Upon a Time Lord. The first issue of Return to Skull Island will debut in comic shops on June 4th, and is set to feature a cover by artist Ayuk Lee. It was also featured in the April edition of Diamond Previews and be available for pre-order. So, yeah, it's nice to see that Skull Island is going to be getting a continuation. Now, a couple of things to point out. Number one being that there were scripts ready for a season 2. Brian Duffield confirmed this. However, it doesn't seem like what was written up for season 2 will be utilized. So I put out a tweet tagging Brian Duffield, who, if you didn't know, was one of the head creators of Skull Island. And I simply ask, I know that season 2 has scripts, but did you know about this? Did the creative team or writer approach you about how the series would continue and implement that into this comic? Basically, I'm saying if the creative team that is making this comic ever approached Brian Duffield about his original ideas for season 2, and whether we'll see those ideas for season 2 be implemented into this comic. And sadly, Brian Duffield responded with, "Nothing to do with me, but I hope it's cool." And honestly, I think that's kind of I don't want to say it's bad, I don't want to say it's sad, but I do find it a little disappointing. Like, if you've seen my my previous Monsterverse video talking about how we're getting another Godzilla Kong movie, and how I'm all about seeing creative heads like taking responsibility of their stories and managing to see it through to the end. So the fact that Brian Duffield hasn't been approached by this other creative team that's making this comic is it's kind of disappointing. Though granted, it's just Brian Duffield. I mean, they could have approached the other writers for season 2 and still implemented those ideas. But yeah, it's just that could be the case, but that might not be the case. So the fact that this is probably not going to be a continuation that the creator himself had envisioned is kind of a bummer to me. But you know, I think you can only get away with so much, honestly. So, you know, for one, I'm really glad that we are getting a continuation to the Skull Island animated series. I just wished that the head creatives of the actual series itself had a part in the creation of this comic, but I'm just glad that we'll at least get something conclusive from that story. And honestly, I'm really excited for it. Like, the continuity of the Monsterverse comics, which we'll talk more about that in a separate video. Trust me. I always like these Monsterverse comics, and you know, there's also this like little timeline that both Variety and Titan Comics provided, along with some previews. I hope I'm having them up there. So I've already seen some people comment about this, how this article, Titan Comics, Legendary Comics as well, is showcasing the updated Monsterverse timeline, and I've already seen some people who commented about how, oh wait, where's the other Monsterverse comics? You know, where's Awakening? Where's Aftermath? Where's Dominion? Blah blah blah. And you know, I'll be sure to cover that in another video. But yeah, it's cool. So yeah, what piece of news from this video are you more excited about? Are you excited to see another toy line tackling Monster Hunter, or are you excited to see the continuation of Skull Island? For me, it's definitely Skull Island. Again, like I really like Hiya, but at the same time, I don't really care too much about Monster Hunter. Even though I have like the Monsterverse, the Monster Arts Rathlos back there. The only reason why I bought that is because the trailer for the Monster Hunter movie was like cool, and I was like, yeah, I want to get that. And then I watched the movie, it's like, oh man. So yeah, leave a comment down below. What was your favorite piece of news? And yeah, I'll be sure to see you all in the next one. Till next time, everybody.